Hello, this is Ted Boriski with the Chang News. Welcome to Vietnam.
Thank you, Ted. I've put together this short documentary in an attempt to change the way that the bicycle taxi drivers are communicating the areas of Nha Trang to the tourists in hope that they will get higher tips and that it'll be a better experience for the tourists themselves. We're now going down. This is something that the taxi drivers could tell the tourists, if you would like. We're going down Hoi Huoc Swan Street, or State Street. The beautiful flowers, trees, everything are spectacular in the evening, and they should encourage the tourists to come back in the evening when the lights are all on, because it's absolutely gorgeous. The street that we're on now is Tan Phu Street, and I would suggest that the taxi drivers create a dialogue here about the beautiful flowers on both the meridian as well as the beach itself. Maybe explain how long it takes to make these trees into these spectacular shapes. All kinds of things. There's many parkways along this street, as well as, of course, the ocean. Most of the buildings are built on our left-hand side as we're driving down this street in this direction, so as to not obscure the beautiful view of the ocean and the islands out behind the ocean. We're now actually cut into the city as we prepare to cross the Tran Phu Bridge. Tran Phu Street is actually dubbed one of the most beautiful streets in all of Vietnam, so that's something that, is interesting, and the taxi drivers should probably relay on to the tourists. We're going to be coming up to the Ponagar Cham Towers, which is commonly known as Phat Ba in Vietnamese. It's a complex of temples that were erected approximately before 781 AD, so very, very old. At the time, this was a medieval principality of Cathara, a very small country next to what is now the city of Nha Trang. It sits on the mountain of Kulao Mountain next to the Kai River, so there's beautiful opportunities for pictures and all kinds of things from the towers. One of the four towers actually had a golden dome on it, which was stolen by pirates. Here we are at the actual towers, or pagoda, and you can see the beautiful grounds, the beautiful towers, the view, of course. Always lots of flowers and beautiful things at all of the temples. The largest of the towers was built in 817 AD, and is 23 meters high. It was actually dedicated to Ponagar, who is said to have taught agriculture and weaving to the people of the area. So he, made a very large contribution to the area, and that was their dedication to him. We're now going back across the Kai River on the original bridge that crossed it for motorcycles and motor cars, and you can see the traffic is just crazy. Us being on a slower moving vehicle, which is pedaled by a poor man. Poor little guy who's pushing close to 400 pounds of weight in front of him. But he did a fabulous job. We're going down a back alley now up to the Long Son Pagoda. And as we go through the pagoda, I'll try and explain it. I know the video is going very quickly, but tried to get everything in so that you can see actually the experience. This is a lying Buddha, which is about halfway up to the top of the temple, which houses a 14-meter high Buddha who's sitting on a lotus blossom. Underneath the Buddha, you can see that there's some busts. Here's a beautiful view of the city from up at the pagoda. 152 stone steps down to the grounds of the pagoda, and the beautiful ceramic mosaic carvings, Chulong Son Temple, or pagoda. Just a beautiful place and a great place to see the culture and different things of Vietnam. One thing I want the taxi drivers to explain while going to the temple or before they let the tourists off at the temple is that there's a lot of beggars that congregate there, demanding money for the monks or selling postcards. We were actually accosted by one of those, so I want them to let you know about that. The next, where we are now, is at the Nha Trang Cathedral. It was built by the French in 1933 and is just a gorgeous cathedral. Sits over 600 people, approximately 600. The grounds, everything is amazing. They actually moved a cemetery to the cathedral I'm not sure, in the 60s, I believe, when the railway went through. So you'll see a lot of tombs there as well. I'm just going to let you enjoy this part of the sounds and everything, and in real time for a few minutes here. I'll be quiet while you experience it. Not sure if I have sound on the other portion or not, but as we go down this street, I want you to look at all these flowers. Now, Ted and I were here about 5 or 6 days prior to the New Year, and all we saw was markings. See this amazing chrysanthemum riding on a motorbike? Crazy. Anyway, there was just numbers marked on the street. A guy was going with a spray can and he was marking numbers and lines along the sidewalks. And when we came back a few days later, it was just covered in flowers and flower arrangements, and all these things are for the Lunar New Year. This year, 2016, is dedicated in the Lunar New Year to the Year of the Monkey. So there's things that reflect on that as well. And just, if it's New Year's, when the taxi driver is taking you around, he can explain to you about New Year's. If they're marking the streets, he can explain how in a week's time this is going to be covered with flowers and arrangements and different things. If it's in a regular, normal time of year, he can explain, what the streets look like at this time of year, or just, how they set up different things along the streets and have different dragon festivals and things. People are always interested in the events, the traditions of the country that they're in, and when you're traveling through these streets, you have a great opportunity to just educate the people about your culture and the way of life of the Vietnamese people. So I hope that the taxi drivers will take these ideas, maybe a few of the things I've said. I just researched this on the internet because when we were traveling with the bicycle taxi, none of these things were explained to us. So I thought that it would be beneficial both to the tourists as well as to you, the taxi drivers, to give some information and help the tourists to understand what's going on, help them not to get ripped off at the pagoda, which was not a fun thing for us, although we didn't know. The young gentleman told us that he was an orphan and that monks had taken him in, and so payment for his room and board, he had to act as a tour guide. And at the end of when we were at the laying Buddha, he asked us to purchase these postcards for 200,000 dong, which is $12, and very, very expensive because he purchases you can get them on the street for like $1, which is fine, but we ended up giving him $6. So thank you for coming on our ride and enjoy your time.